I've had this conversation before, and it was a conversation which I've had different views about, and I've had various people come on and speak about their experience. I'm speaking about growing up dual heritage, mixed race. Yeah, there were a time, and apologies for anybody offended by this, there were words which were used very derogatory towards mixed race and dual heritage individuals, male and female. We know those words. We don't need to repeat those words, but we know those words which were used back in the day. It's same similar words which were used for black people, ladies and gentlemen. But we recognise that the same individuals are people, and they've got feelings and they've got emotions. And I even put myself in this scenario that I've always classed dual race, dual heritage individuals as black. But I've had to, and I've been pulled up on it. It's like, well, who am I as an individual to put down a marker and describe a person, whether male or female? Who am I to tell them who they are? Is it a point that we have to accept that dual heritage individuals are their own race, and it's depending on the environment they have grown up in, and where they're from, and how they move, they got the best of both worlds? And funny enough, playing Bob Marley, which I would be speaking about him just after midday, he is of dual heritage. His words and his movements and his actions very much uplifted the black community around the world, but his father was a white man. And if you've seen the movie One Love, there is a point of the movie where it comes across very much that this father figure which he needed, this mysterious white man on a horse, tends to be a part of that story. And we would never, ever know what exactly was in Bob's mind being mixed heritage, even if you looked at himself as a mixed race individual. Did he embrace his white side of the family just as much he probably embraced the black side of his family? I'm having this conversation today, ladies and gentlemen, because I watch a podcast from time to time, and I say watch it. The clips on this particular podcast normally goes viral. And there are a few individuals who are involved in this podcast. And one of the individuals is by the name of Young Spray. My producer can probably tell me any different. And a very popular podcast by the name of RMT podcast. And before I play this clip, there is one of the sections he speaks about mixed race people. Now, he is of Dominican descent, dark-skinned brother from North London. And there was something about this particular conversation which didn't necessarily sit right with me. I'm not saying that I'm judge and jury, but he was questioning the mental stability of mixed race people. And I want you to listen to the conversation, ladies and gentlemen. And I've got a guest coming on very, very soon who is of dual heritage, and they're going to be speaking about their experience as a dual heritage individual. And obviously they are, not obviously you won't know this, but they are a comedian as well. And I'll be talking about various other things. But I would like to hear from you, once you listen to the clip, your opinions of what he is saying and who's having a conversation with. Let's play that clip, please.
Person mental. I do find that a lot of mixed race people are a lot more emotional about.
Trying to trigger me about.
You're triggered straight away. That's why you're saying why are you trying to trigger me, because you're mixed race. But I realize a lot of mixed race people.
Why are you triggered? Don't be triggered. What is mixed race?
Well. They're mixed race triggered.
What?
But I'm saying we're proper black people here. Mixed race people, I do notice they go harder for black issues than even black people. When you look at it, no joke. Because my sister, remember, I said I've got a mixed race sister, so I actually understand mixed race people and it's a mixed race brother. I grew up with them, so I know you lot are mental. So whatever you lot are saying to me, I know you lot got mental health from birth.
Who's you lot? Everyone's different, just like every black person's different.
Of you individually mixed race are maniacs. You've got mental health. You're in therapy.
Maybe.
You need to go therapy.
I don't disagree.
You don't know, man.
Yeah, you don't know.
I know that you need to go therapy. I can see in your eyes.
Most people, to be fair,
I can see in your eyes you're mental.
Therapy.
It's mental.
All right. Let's stop it there. All right. I'm going to introduce my first guest, my second guest to the show. Now, this is a young lady who's a comedian who I've gigged. I've only gigged with her twice. I've gigged with her, one in London and one in Bristol. Goes by the name of Sarah Levine, ladies and gentlemen. Sarah Levine. All right, Sarah.
Hi. You okay?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm okay as well. Yeah. Good.
Yeah. Before the clip or after the clip?
Yeah, I just don't like that guy anyway.
All right. Do you understand or accept? So I'm understanding the wrong word. Do you accept that there are people who do podcasts to generally clickbait? Do you think that was a clickbait moment, or do you think he actually meant that? That's how he thinks.
No, I've met this guy in person. One of the scariest experiences of my life, Quincy.
Oh, really?
I'd say he is one of the tappedest people I've ever met in my life. So for him to sit on a podcast and talk about different races being tapped, he is out of this world.
Right. Did it offend you what he said?
Everything he does offends me. Literally, him even still having airtime offends me.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Right.
literally, he is one of the worst people I've ever met.
All right. Before we get into your experience growing up dual heritage, just tell people about you. I know you as a comedian, but there's so much more about you. So let the listeners know who you are, what you do, what you're about, where you're going, young lady.
Okay, I'm Sarah Levine and I'm going to the stars.
Right.
I'm a mom. I do art. I'm an artist. I've done voiceovers in the past. I've worked as a social worker in the past. I've worked in prisons, low secure units, children's homes, schools, Alzheimer's, nursing homes. Like literally, I've worked in a wide spectrum of jobs. And then I just got into comedy quite crazily, to be honest. And then that's literally where I've been ever since. I gave up my job 2 years ago. And I've been doing comedy ever since.
When I first met you, I met you in the backstage at Slim's in Soho. I thought you was a singer. Did
you?
You had singing vibes all over you. I thought you was a singer.
I've heard that before. I have heard that, but yeah, no. I mean, I can hold a tune, but I'm definitely not the singer in the family. My sister Emma is actually a singer.
All right. And you are, tell them what part of the world you are from.
Liverpool.
There you go. For my Tottenham people. I'll be playing that later on. Right. So look, I asked you to come on here. This other stuff to talk about, but I really am interested. When I heard it, I commented on it. And I just said, when he mentioned the fact of mixed race people are tapped, I commented to say, does that mean Bob Marley's tapped? Does that mean Barack Obama tapped in different ways? So what is your experience growing up, Jew heritage, mixed race?
I feel like depending on which sides of the spectrum you're raised, so if you're raised by your white parents or you're raised by your black parents or you're raised in a dual heritage house, do you know what I mean? I feel like that changes a lot of things. Whereas I was raised with my white mum. So me black father, he left. Well, my mum actually ran away from him into the refuge. So I was born in a woman's refuge, escaping my dad and his violence. And so I never actually had a relationship with my dad at all. So there was so much about myself that I didn't know. There was like, I literally only just found out where we were from in Jamaica because my cousin did her dad's lineage, and then it had my dad included. So I don't know, I feel like it's a weird one, especially in Liverpool, because Liverpool is racist. I know we don't like to talk about it like it is, but it is, and that's just been my experience of it since I was little. um and we've moved a lot, we've moved around a lot, and most places were racist to us, to be honest. And it was a weird one because I feel like there's times where you think, when people are coming at you so angrily, there's times where you're thinking like, whoa, like I'm part white as well, do you know what I mean? But then you're not accepted on either side. Sometimes you feel like you're not accepted on either side. Like black people don't accept you as whole, and white people don't accept you as whole. So you're just kind of like in limbo.
I'm gonna go as far, and I put it out there, and feel free to shoot me down anytime, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna go as far. I would probably say more black women have an issue than black men with you. Not you personally, but with mixed race women. What would you
There's
say
more
that?
issue with black men, did you say?
A mixed race woman is going to have probably more issues with black women than they are with black men.
I'll be honest with you, I've not experienced any issues with black women. Black women have always been, well, from my experience, like I've got a lot of black girlfriends as well, and they're all really like, a lot of them was the ones who taught me how to like do my hair and things about myself that I didn't know. So like, no, they I feel like they offered me a lot of comfort. But I guess it's always been like white guys that have called me names, or like black guys that have gone, you can't really say you're black, can you? Do you know what I mean? So I wouldn't even say it was
Really?
women.
I'm quite shocked. Yeah, I'm quite shocked by that as it goes. So when you say white guys have made the comments, white and black guys have made the comments towards you, is that because of you haven't played the game with them, or you haven't bought the same things? Is it just being vindictive? Because the reason why I said more women, because you mentioned that you didn't really feel accepted, and it's that we all want to be accepted at the end of the day by everybody. So is that what do you mean by didn't feel accepted? Accepted in what sense?
Like there's sometimes where I feel where I'm in a complete black room and I don't feel like I can say I'm black. Like, and I'm aware that I'm light skinned. I'm aware of what that what kinds of sometimes privilege that brings. So I don't even want to say that and feel I don't feel comfortable in saying that in front of a room full of black people that have experienced like down and out racism when I've experienced it, but I feel like for example, I went to Shrewsbury one time with a yard man, right? He had dreads. He was like straight from yard. And we were, I think we were filming or something, but we'd gone into this pub in Shrewsbury. And when I tell you, everyone put down their knives and forks and everyone just looked at us, the whole place was silent. And it was one of the most eeriest experiences I've ever had. I've never experienced that being me. And I said to him, like, have you experienced this a lot? And he's like, I've experienced this so much. And I was just like, wow, like, so I get called, I like when I was younger, I'd get called like you dirty black bitch or shit like that, like N word. Like me head teacher called me the N word once in when I was in school. Like people just was like, oh look, we've got chocolate pudding on the menu, Sarah, if like you, or just little bits of racism. Do you know what I mean? Even my children, they've had racism from when they were in year 2 in school in Liverpool. So we've always had little bits of racism. Like I moved into this house and my next door neighbour put CCTV up, and we're the only black family in the street, right? And I said to my mum, "Oh, my neighbours have put CCTV up as soon as they moved in." She said, "Yeah, but it's fashionable now." So I asked them, "How long have you lived here for?" And they said 12 years. So in 12 years, within the first 2 weeks of me and my kids moving in, you put CCTV, and like, come on. Like, there's just loads of things that have happened, like where we get followed around shops, depending on how my hair is, like we'll get followed around shops and stuff like that. But like that experience walking into that pub with this guy, and everyone, it was like a movie, and everyone put their knives and forks down. Everyone just stared at us. We didn't get served. And we ended up leaving. And as we were leaving, there was like people laughing about us outside, like how brave we were to even be in there. Like how dare we walk into such a local pub as black and brown people. And I just thought, wow, like, and I'd never experienced that level of racism before. So that's why I don't feel like I could stand up and be like, I am black, because I don't know the level of stuff that comes with that. Do you know what I mean? I only know my experience as a fair skinned woman. So I just say like I'm brown or I'm mixed race.
Would it be wrong for me? So when I met you or meet you, I would just say, if they said, "Oh, have you seen Sarah?" and I say, "Who, the black girl?" So is it wrong for me or anybody to
No,
assume
I'd love that.
people with
No, I love that. Do it again. No. I don't mind it. If other people call me it, 100% no, I love that. Like, that's fine. But it's a respect thing for me to everybody else. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't want you to feel like, I don't want other black people who've struggled on a different level to me to feel like I'm trying to like join in on that struggle. Like, and I know it's different struggles. So that's all that is. It's just a sign of respect from me to everybody else, basically, that I know I'm aware of myself. Do you know what I mean? That's all.
I've got a caller who's going to call in Avendi. 1 second. Hello, Avendi. What would you like to say?
Hi. Greetings, Quincy. I just felt like I had to phone in because of what Sarah said. Hi, Sarah.
Hi.
She said hello, Sarah.
Hi. I said hi.
Yes, I mean, I just feel really sad to hear. You know, I just feel sad to hear that you feel that you can't say you're black because you're going to offend someone. You are black, my dear. You know? And that's why when you went into that pub in Shrewsbury, that's why you got the reaction that you got. Because you're from African origin. You know? So nobody can't tell you you are not black. Yeah?
Yeah, thank
You
you.
are a black sister, yes. You have dual heritage, but your root is an African. So never you be ashamed.
Oh, it's not a
of
shame. It's
saying
not
that.
a shame. Yeah.
That
It's
is your
definitely
God right. And nobody cannot take that away from you.
okay.
Yeah?
Thank you.
Nobody
Yeah.
can take that away from you. And I just wanted to just share that with you. You're a beautiful queen. You just got through. That is your God-given right. You hear me?
Yes.
So blessed love to you.
Thank you.
At the end, yeah, you hear me? At the end. God bless, Avendi. Take it easy, yeah? Yeah. How does that
It's
make you
not a
feel when you hear
shame thing. It's not a shame thing. I just want to clear that up. It's nothing to do with shame. I feel so privileged to be in like mixed. I feel so privileged for that. I just, as well, I think being raised by a white woman, like, and I've noticed some of my friends who've been raised by black women, they're more, I don't know, they're just more aware. Do you know what I mean? Whereas I feel like I don't have that. And then like there's so much part about being black that I didn't get because my dad weren't there and I was raised by my mum who was white. So it was like she tried her best, do you know what I mean? She did try her best. And like sometimes I see like white women like pushing mixed race babies and the hair's everywhere. Like they don't know how to do the hair, they don't know the culture and stuff like that. So I am aware that my mum tried it. She did try and immerse herself into the culture and give us the best that she could. But like she was white, so we were raised like by a white woman trying to find our way in the world as brown people. So it's like It was interesting. It was very interesting, but it's not a shame thing. I just want to say it's not a shame. I'm very honoured. Feel honoured.
So when we like encounter people like Akala, who's white mother, and Akala like is very strong culturally. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to go away for a quick five on the FM. I'm talking to Sarah Levine. If you want to come across the Quincy's Comedy Lounge, we are talking experience growing up mixed race, and just Sarah's as a comedian, as an artist. You like to call it artist or comedian?
Both is
What would you like
fine,
to be
either
called?
or, whatever.
Right. So I played a clip from Young Spray, who made a comment about mixed race individuals. Just to pick up what I was saying, Akala's mum, who was white, she made it a point of making him know and his sister know about the black side. So she took them to a school to know about their black history. Is that something your white mother did, or she attempted to do?
No, what my mum did was, because she was escaping me dad, she moved us to a really predominant white area, and she got remarried, and I think in that we'd suffered a lot of abuse. Like I said, my head teacher like called me the M word, and like other kids were very weird to us. Like they were really like abusive to me and my older sister Emma. So my mum actually moved us back to Liverpool, and she moved us to Toxteth, and she was like, your dad's well known here, so you'll be safe. And like obviously everyone's your colour, so you should be fine. Like, and we was like, it was cool there. We stayed there for like, so we moved there when we were in primary school. So that's what my mum did. She tried to immerse us back into a black space, a safe space where our father was recognised. So we'd feel safer, I guess.
Have you ever spoken to your mum and what it was like for her as a white woman raising black children in back in the day? Has she ever spoken about her? Because I've met your mum, so I mean, your mum's she's a diamond. You know what I mean? Easy going, relaxing. Yeah, she's a good woman. And I've always wanted.
Today, big up mumsy. Pew, 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 pew.
Oh, big up mum, yeah. Yeah, no, big up your mum 24/7. Has she ever spoken about her experience? Because it must be, if you don't feel black in a black space, what would it be like for your mum as a white woman with black children in a black space? What would it be like for her?
She said she suffered loads. Like people would stare at her and like would say things to her when we'd be in the pram or whatever. She'd like, and obviously she had some intervention from the social services, and the social services offered, because when she gave birth to me, she gave birth to me in a woman's refuge. So she had our Emma, who's by my dad as well, and my older sister Catherine, who's by a white dad. So she when she gave birth to me, they had to go into a foster care because she was completely on her own. She had no family and like no one to look after them too. So when she tried to get them back, the social services offered to keep Emma, the black one. They were like, you can just take Catherine if you want, and we'll take like Emma and Sarah, and you don't have to worry about them because your life will be much easier with just your white daughter. And my mum was like, no. And then the second time with social services intervention, we went into care. We went into the children's home when I was about 8. And they offered it again when she'd fall for us. They was like, stop fighting for like Emma and Sarah. You can just have Catherine back. And she again declined. But imagine being offered twice to give up your black children because your life, they were saying to her life would be easier if she gave us up.
There's a film which is coming out soon. Steve McQueen, who done the Lovers Rock, black director. He's got dual heritage children, but it's about dual heritage mixed race young boy and his white mum in the Second World War. So where I live in Canning Town, Canning Town supposed to have had the biggest influx of mixed race children. And similar to Liverpool, Canning Town, where I'm from, there was the docks. So whenever the docks, and like in Liverpool, you had the Americans, the black sailors used to come in, obviously meet the women, local women, and there was an area in Canning Town called Draft Alley, because of the amount of mixed race. So for me, I asked that question about your mum, because that was what 30 something years ago for your mum.
Yeah.
Imagine what it was like for a white woman in the 40s.
No,
That must have
no.
been crazy. And
That must have been so
it
crazy.
struck a chord with me when you said, in social services, said to you, when they said to your mum, keep the white child and adopt and leave you and your sister. That your mum must have.
She'd
I
have it
mean, your mum
easy.
must have gone through mental.
Yeah.
What? Say again?
Yeah, they said she'd have it easier if
I
she
didn't
just
hear
left
that.
us.
Say that again.
They said she'd have it easy if she'd leave us. But yeah, my mum's a champion. My mum's been through so much. Like, she's been through so much. Even the fact that we went into care was just a pure miscarriage of justice in my eyes. Like, that never had to get to that level. And then her fighting for us to get back. And then because me and Emma went into care with our older sister who was white, they instantly separated us as well. So Catherine was on like a different side of the it was like a big industrial castle almost, and it had like loads of different rooms, but there was a section off, and Catherine was on this side. And if you speak to my sister about her experience in care, it's fab. She's still got all her friends. Like, some of her friends came to the wedding recently. Like, it's all wonderful and sunshine and light and blah blah blah. But then they put me and our Emma on a different ward, on a different part, and we just suffered endless abuse. Like, I remember them chasing me to burn my hair because it was curly, and some of the boys like sexually assaulting our Emma. And I remember the children's home manager he's in jail now for being a paedophile, but he was so interesting that he separated us and put, because we were the youngest girls in there, and we were the most vulnerablest. We were the only black people in there, the entire home, in the entire area. So we were just so vulnerable and in danger. So my mum was fighting her hardest, but my mum actually got sectioned. So she was like trying to get better and fight for us to come home. And they were just fighting against her. And then this paedophile was like taking care of me and my sister, but pure vulnerable. Do you know what I mean? We were so vulnerable. And it was like all the boys in there were just terrorizing us. It was just it was horrendous. It was not a fun time at all.
And at no point have you angry at your black father for putting your mum through the situation, and yourselves as siblings, the black side of your family. You've never been.
I'll be honest with you, Quincy. Right,
No.
This is something that
do you know?
I know him, yeah. Because this is something I've battled with for a while. Like, even when we were in care, our Emma got a birthday card from me dad, saying, happy birthday. Her birthday was in May. And then I remember being so excited for my birthday, thinking my dad's going to get me a card. And he didn't. It never came. And I remember feeling heartbroken by it. And then knowing that our Emma had 2 years with me dad before my mum ran away and left him with me. So I was me dad's only child that he wasn't in the birthing room for. So I grew up really desperately wanting me dad, desperately wanting to be in his world and know about him, and for him to know about me. And I remember doing like the most in school and always achieving the greatest. And Emma was always so naughty and wayward. And my dad would like pick her up from school and like take her to McDonald's, and he'd never pick me up ever. Like, he never, not no relationship whatsoever. It was quite strange, actually. And then when I got pregnant with the twins, I thought to myself, I said to her, Emma, will you take me to my dad's? Because I want my kids to know who their granddad is. I want my kids to know that black side. I want them to know, where we're from in Jamaica and stuff like that. So Emma took me there, and I was 6 months pregnant at the time, 17. I was like 5 months pregnant anyway, and that was fine. It was going well until it didn't go well, and now we don't have a relationship at all.
You mentioned you got children.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned you got children. You got, like myself, we've got twins. I respect to you, big boys.
Big boys.
You being mixed race, is it deterred or not deterred? That's the wrong word. Has it an impact on the kind of guys you go for? Would you just go for guys as long as they treat you well, or have you got a preference?
So again, this ties into my dad and this whole thing, but I literally had my children with a replica of my dad, which is crazy because I didn't even know him. I don't even know this guy, but like I subconsciously went for the same man. So like, for example, the twins' dad, he had another daughter, but he didn't business with her, just like my dad didn't business with me. But he business with the twins, and my dad businesses with his other kids. It's like you pick and choose, which is crazy to me. Like how do you pick and choose which kids you love or put time into and which kids you don't? And then he was abusive. The twins' dad was very abusive.
To
He
you?
put me through absolute hell. Like like anything bad that a guy could do to you. He was like, I used to sleep in the bathroom to get away from because it was the only door with a lock on it. And then he threatened me to like hurt the boys. So then I'd sleep in the bathroom with the boys. And yeah, and then I got away from him. We ended up in a refuge as well, which is funny. I ended up in a refuge, the same one I was born in Interesting. Exactly, that's what I'm saying. It's like subconsciously I got with my father. And then to save me from him, I ended up getting with a really big guy that I thought, well, the twins' dad would never fuck with me now because obviously I'm with this bigger, badder guy. So this bigger, badder guy is going to keep me safe. But then the bigger, badder guy was really big and bad, and he actually tried to kill me one time, and he went to jail for attempted murder, and he got 8.5 years. And then I was on a healing journey then. Like I just thought, okay, you really need to like come out of this pattern that I was in, this toxic chasing, like I don't know, like I don't even know what it is. I was just so desperate to be loved that I was looking for it in all of the wrong places, and I was thinking that these men were going to keep me safe, but really these men were like completely trying to control me and own me in every single way, shape, and form. So I did a lot of healing, and now I'm on a completely different path. As a grown woman now, I'm like, I won't accept anything other than just pure love and good intentions for me and
I
my
suppose
kids.
I suppose that comes from you're speaking from a female experience. I mean, being mixed race, that could play a part in it, I suppose. But I go back to what Spray was mentioning. How you've just described parts of your life. We could say some of it, what he said, could make sense.
No, because he's saying that that wasn't me, was it? He's saying I'm tapped, but that wasn't me. Well, okay, I'll take accountability. Obviously, I played part in it. I picked these guys. Well, I didn't pick them, but that I allowed them to pick me.
Yeah.
I allowed to be involved in it. Like I was involved in it for as long as I was, but I wouldn't say I can't. I don't think you can put race onto being tapped, because I know so many tapped white people. I know many tapped black people. I know tapped Asians. I know tapped Chinese people. Like there's tapped in every single race, in every single sex. There's someone tapped. So it's like you've got tapped white police officers. You've got tapped fucking politicians. Do you know what I mean? Like you can't put it down to specifics of race and sex and stuff like that. Like he's the most tappedest person on the planet. So we can't even talk about people being tapped.
Yeah.
He's probably more tapped than his mixed race brother and sister.
Would you say that making those kind of comments on such a big platform doesn't do the topic any justice? It actually makes it worse. It adds to stereotypes.
Yeah, I just feel like he's just like trying to grow a stigma, but I feel, me personally, when I look at him and when I watch him and hear some of the crap that he says and how he disrespects people that have come onto the show and how he speaks to women in general, or like that list that he did with ZZ Mills about all the women that he'd have sex with, like I just feel like the more energy we give this guy, regardless of what he's talking about, the more platform he's getting, the more he's gonna keep being bold and brave in the shit that he says, when it's really he's just non-deserving of time, airtime, or that platform that he's got.
I'm gonna this part I could be classed as a leftist or a woke individual. I would say there were people like the same gentleman who have unfortunately had to raise them. There's a generation out there who have had to raise themselves. You've had to raise yourself, and you haven't had that elder or by your mum. You haven't had that person to guide you or to advise you, or that person. So him speaking the way he does, he needs, or his generation needs that individual, the elder, to say no. Not saying don't talk like that, but to question him.
Now, to say don't talk like that, someone needs to knock him off his peg fast. I feel like he does need to be told not to talk like that, for real. He needs to not talk like that, because he is the black version of Andrew Tate. Just on different topics, but on the same, like the way he speaks about women, the way he treats women, the way he talks about all these topics that he has literally no qualifications to speak on. He has no real understanding. Like, he just shouldn't be speaking on these things. And he reminds me, his arrogance and his boldness and his fuckery reminds me of Andrew Tate. And the way he's got influence. He's got influence on the younger generation as well, which he shouldn't have.
How do you think that your boys, so your boys' dad is black, you're mixed race, how your boys class themselves?
Oh, the boys. The boys have such a rough time with their identity, because obviously my mum's Chilean, she's Chilean Irish, and my dad's Jamaican, and their dad is African, Nigerian, and Chinese. So the boys are like a proper bundle of joy of beautiful cultures, and whenever they go anywhere, everyone just thinks they're Arabian, so everyone's just like, these are Arabs, and they're like, no, we're black. Like, both our parents are black, and everyone's like, sure. Like, no one believes them. So the boys are constantly fighting this battle. And whenever they list all the places where we're from, people are just like, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, okay, sure. You know what I mean? So they're having a little battle about it. But they love. I have not known kids in my life to love so much their blackness. Like, they love it. They love talking about it. They love being immersed in the culture. They love the food. They love the music. They love the hip wines. They love their black family. Like, they love every single thing to do with the cultures. Like, they're obsessed with it. So, like, it's wonderful. But I did try and raise them in a sense where they were, bold and proud, because I know they were going to be like questions.
Yeah, and have they had similar experiences in school like you did?
Oh yeah, they go to a really racist school right now. Like, for example, Jaden was in class a couple of months ago, and he said to his friend, who said something gay, and he said to his friend, "Oh my God, you're a raging homophobic." And the teacher said to them in the front of the class, in front of all the other kids, Jaden's like the only black one in there, "You can't say that. That's like me calling you the N-word." So then Jaden had a debate with the teacher about the difference between homophobia and racism in front of the whole class, trying to debunk the teacher's theory. And the teacher was arguing back with my son about it. And the whole class was like on the teacher's side. So Jaden's trying to educate 30 plus people on how them two are completely different things. And like, that shouldn't have been used as an example towards them. So then later on, I obviously went in and spoke to the teacher, and I said, well, where would you pull that? Why would you jump straight to that? And the teacher said, well, this is really annoying. He goes, well, you know about America. And I was like, and he went, I've got this new book. And apparently in America, if you write the M word with an A, it's not as offensive as if you write it with an ER. And I just looked and I was like, what has this got to do? White guy, white teacher. I said, what has that got to do with what I'm asking you. Like, why would you bring that into the conversation with my son? Like, it has no relevance. So that's what they're dealing with on a regular. They're dealing with not only the kids being racist, but the teachers being microaggressive to them in ways that, you know, I experienced when I was little, but mine was a lot blatant. But theirs is like where they're coming home and telling me things, and I'm thinking, no, that's not cool. But the boys are very intelligent and articulate, so they'll challenge stuff. The boys won't take stuff, they'll challenge it, and they're not fighters. And they said to me like the proper lover boys, not fighter boys. So when boys in the school have like said shit to them and that, and I've said if you punch them up, the boys will be like, no, because if we punch them up, mum, we're the only black kids in the school, we'll be punching everybody up, like everyone will gang up on us. So I'm aware of that. I know that the boys are in a sticky predicament, but they stand up for themselves in other ways. I guess they're very articulate, like I said, so they'll you know, and they're good, they're very witty, they'll cuss you the fuck out too. So it's a tricky one, not gonna lie, but I can't fight kids, you know, so
Yeah, well, the kids are big now, so you can at least throw a thump.
I can't fight kids, Quincy.
Try not to cuss, Sarah, if you can. Maybe after 9 o'clock.
Sorry, guys.
That's all right.
It's the scouse in me.
So sometimes
I was raised by a mum in a pub.
Have you been to Jamaica?
No, it's on my list. Me and the boys are talking about
Would you
it,
like-
but huh?
Would you like to go to Jamaica? You and your boys?
Yeah, 100%. We're gonna go 100%. That's without debate. That is without debate. Our Emma's actually going in May, so we're going.
All right. You get a choice. Yeah. You get a bag of money, and they say to you, right, Jamaica or Africa, any part of Africa. Where you going?
Jamaica. I've wanted to go to Jamaica for the longest time. Yeah, I've wanted to go for the longest time, and I feel like it's just something me and the boys have talked about so much in depth. And they were like, Mum, when we get there, can we have our first spliff with you? And I was like, no. Like the idea of it, the food, the sun, the sand, the people. I just feel like it's just going to be a proper game changer. Like, and we really want to go. And the boys obviously are going to go and visit all of their locations and from their many cultures that they've got in them. But definitely Jamaica will be with me first.
Well, I mentioned that you're a comedian. You're an artist, but you are a comedian. How long have you been on the comedy circuit?
This is my 4th year.
Are you finding it
interesting? As a woman, very interesting. As a woman in Liverpool, interesting. As a black woman, interesting. Like, it's very layered, to be honest, and I'm finding it very it's very different. But again, it's nothing that I haven't handled already, being in the other sectors of the world.
What do you think is the biggest challenge, your race or your gender as a comic? What's been the ones you've encountered probably the most more challenging?
Such a good question.
Oh, thanks.
It is a good question. I feel like in Liverpool, maybe I want to say me race, but that might not even be true. But I feel like outside of that, because it's such a male-dominated space, I'd say being a woman, because I've got to navigate that in a way where men don't violate me or take the piss out of me. Do you know what I mean? And because of the situations I've been in the past with men, it's been very, very challenging for me to like demand things that I deserve. Do you know what I mean? Stand up for myself, or when people have been rude to me or like inappropriate towards me, I've not handled that probably in the best way, because I've tried to like be like, you know what I mean, when really now as the way I am now 4 years later, that just wouldn't run. Certain things wouldn't run. But yeah, I'd definitely say probably being a woman.
You know, what when you go on stage, what does comedy bring, or what do you think you bring to the comedy world when you go on stage?
I want to be like I always wanted to be like a Jessica Rabbit of comedy. Like, I want to bring the sexy vibes, and I want to talk about sex, and I want to talk about flanges and willies and all the wonderful things in between and all the awkward things in between. Obviously, other stuff as well, because it's not just about that, but sex intertwines into so much in society anyway. But because so many people, like, it's interesting because men can come on and talk about another woman's vagina, and everyone's just like, that's so funny. But as soon as a woman comes on and talks about her own vagina, everyone's like, why is she talking about a vagina? Do you know what I mean? So I like to challenge that. I want to be that person that just talks about my vagina all the time and just makes people feel very comfortable with the idea of it, because sex is so, it's like the most common, like, all of us exist because two people had sex. Do you know what I mean? Like, unless you had IVF, but even then they were probably still fucking hard up until they got there. But like, like, I just feel like sex is such a taboo subject, and women are so frowned upon for talking about it, when I just don't want to be that woman. I want to talk about it with pure sex, and I mean, not with sex appeal and sexiness, and just like good vibes, and like just
I'm watching your body language and your movie.
I just want to
Ladies
be
and
like,
gentlemen,
yeah, I just want to be like a Marilyn Monroe, like a black Marilyn Monroe of comedy. That's what I want to be. I want to change the game, because when I started, everyone was going, comedians don't really look like you. Comedians don't really look like you, Sarah. Like, you get like, it's, and then some people would insinuate that I'm only getting jobs because of the way I look, which is crazy, because why would you put me on stage if I'm not making people laugh? Do you know what I mean? And it's not like everyone's just there to look at my boobs, but I feel like there isn't no one like me. So when people say to me, oh, who do you like, who do you relate to on the comedy circuit in the UK? I struggle to find people, because I'm thinking to myself, well, I'm just kind of like in my own lane, because I'm trying to do my own thing. I don't want to do comedy shows in jeans and a shirt. I want to do comedy shows in like gowns, like Joan Rivers, and like fur coats, and like glam. Do you know what I mean? Like, I want to be proper
have
glam
you
with it. And
have you met Ninia Benjamin?
no, is she from America?
No, she's Three Non Blondes. She's one of the Three Non Blondes. She's British.
Oh
Ninia
yeah,
Ben-
and she's done other shows, hasn't she?
yeah, she wears glasses and she has like red locks. But
Okay, yeah.
she talks about sex. Do you think that? Who do you think is the big issue when they talk about sex, men or women? When women
What,
talk
men
about,
or
who do you think has a big issue in 2025?
women?
Women have
Women, I've been there. I have sat in audiences, and a man has gone, oh, I bet you finger it to this man, and everyone's going, ah. But do you think for 1 second, if I came out on stage and pointed at a couple and said, bet you finger it, do you think, I know, sorry, but I'm just saying, for example, of comedy's sake, do you think that man would get the same laughs as this white guy saying the same joke? No, it would not, because people would be disgusted that I'm talking about vaginas like that. Like, it's just so different. And it seems so interesting that especially white guys have all the scope in the world. They can talk about anything and everything, and nothing's off bounds. But it is for me. I have to be mindful and aware that I'm a woman. I have to be mindful that some women in the audience might not like me. I have to be mindful that some men in the audience might not find me funny because they're too busy looking at my breasts, or they're thinking she's not going to be funny. You know what I mean? Like, I have to be mindful of all these things that a white man never has to be mindful of. So it's a bit like, it's rude.
and black comics as well. The same. We don't have those issues.
Well, no, it's different. The black circuit's different. I feel like the black circuit's so much more
black
upmarket for me. Like, yeah.
As a black comedian, like when we do, like you saw me when I was at Hot Water. I mean, there is a perception why audiences will have of you. You know what I mean? But I think it's very important not to fit to that stereotype of what people think.
No,
you know
definitely not.
When you go on stage, what do you think people? What do people see or imagine when you first walk on stage?
She's not going to be funny.
Really?
Yeah, I think they think, oh, come on, come on. Like, But obviously now I've grown, so people know me, people recognize me, so it's different now. So people are expecting me to be funny, whereas back then it was more of she's not going to be funny. So it's changed now. It's changed now. I'm like, well, people know me from social media, so they're like, she's going to be funny. But now it's maybe more pressure, like, be funny. Do you know what I mean?
I will say this before we go. Yeah, I will say this. When we met in Slim, we was all talking in the back. You're a very interesting character. You've got a lot to say. You've got a lot to offer. How would you, before we go, how would you describe yourself in a few words? How would you describe Sarah in a few words?
I'd say I was deep. I'd say I was shy. And I'd say I was bold and brave and strong. Yeah.
All right. Bob Marley celebrated his 80th birthday yesterday. Yeah. If you was to pick a Bob Marley song to resemble the current times and situations we are living in, which Bob Marley, which is Cockney rhyming slang for Charlie, which Bob Marley song would you say?
I'd say Exodus, but my tune is jamming. It's just good vibes. I wanna jam it with you. We're jamming, but the song of the times would definitely be Exodus, movement of the people. That is the one for the times.
All right, Sarah, there he is, mixed race fella.
Respect, Bob.
So Bob.
R.I.P.
So Bob. All right, listen, yeah, taken too early, you know what I mean, but such a wonderful thing. I'm going to play some Bob, but Sarah, like we be in contact, and I appreciate, I mean, you being very open with me and to the listeners, and obviously you heard from one of the callers, you know what I mean, what they feel, and you are confident. With what I've witnessed so far, you are very confident, and all I'm saying is don't get people taking advantage of you and your boys. Just stay focused.
Stay strong. Got you. Right. Thanks, Quincy. Respect.
Yeah, I was going to play some of your clips, but because of the time of day on, I couldn't play none. So that's the.
That's what I'm saying. You've got to come see me. You got to come catch me in HD for real.
I was like, right, what can I play? Because one of the clips was like, you look a little vagina. That was one of them. Are you in hot water now?
No, not fully. It's just I get invited on when people I know are doing their own shows. They invite me on, but Hot Water doesn't really invite me on.
Hang on a minute. So when I was there last time, they put you on since.
My friend is on this show. Yeah, that was my friend's show. It's called Adam and Friends.
Oh, I see. Because I saw it on the timeline, and I thought, they might have booked you now, or at least an open spot.
I didn't even get paid for that.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
I never get paid in Liverpool. Liverpool is the least place I'll get paid to do a gig. Which is interesting, isn't it? Considering I'm the only black female comedian in the area, like in the whole of Liverpool.
Yeah, that's nuts. Yeah, that's nuts. All right. Well, we can only put the energy out there. You know, I mean, you can keep on doing your thing. They will come calling, like amongst many other clubs. They will come calling. Just stick to your trade. All right. Got a message from Miriam says that will Sarah be performing in London? And what is Hot Water? Hot Water is a comedy club in Liverpool.
It's the biggest comedy club in Europe, actually, Quincy. It's been the biggest in Europe now. Yeah, and the new one.
That makes sense. 100%. It's probably bigger than the Comedy Store now, as in.
Yeah.
Okay then. So when are you performing in London next?
I don't actually have any shows booked in. You know, I'm in Birmingham on Valentine's Day, and then Wolverhampton next. And Manchester, they're my next 3 locations: Birmingham, Wolves, and Manchester.
You're not doing no real deal stuff.
Oh yeah, actually, he's booked me into October, so I'm like further down the line. Yeah, but just keep posted on my page. I'll post on I post on there, or yeah, follow Real Deal Comedy, and they'll post me up on there when it's time.
All right, respect. All right, let's go. I'm gonna salute Bob and obviously send my commiserations to Irv Gotti. Unfortunately, lost his life this week, which is very, very sad. You know what I mean? But Sarah, God bless you. Take it easy, yeah?
Yeah, catch ya. Bye, everyone.
Right, bye. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Sarah Levine, she comedian out of Liverpool. We're gonna go away.